Hey everyone, so just a quick video. I have been so busy this week. It was my mom's 96th birthday yesterday. I've been working all week. If you don't know, I'm a substitute paraprofessional and a substitute teacher. Today I was subbing as a teacher at a school I'd never been to, and I had first graders in the morning and fifth graders in the afternoon, and boy, did those first graders have me against the ropes this morning, but it's still fun. And yeah. And if you don't know, I'm giving tips and I'm learning myself as I go along. I had my identity stolen in a data breach, and not just stolen, but really stolen. I actually applied to get a new social security number. And the minute all this happened, 70% of my income was taken away. And I am working to rebuild because I was just at the pinnacle. I had my old YouTube channel, well, not old, but it took me over 4 years to build that up to where it was. I lived in a van. It was called Adventures Over 50. And if you don't know, I take care of my mom. My mom's in assisted living. She turned 96 yesterday. But I still have to take her to appointments and all this stuff. And that's why I work as a sub, because I can't take off all the time with a new job. She broke her hip last year when I was starting a new job. I moved her into assisted living in September. On Thanksgiving, she broke her hip. She had to have surgery the next day on Friday. I was starting a new job on Monday. And it just all became too stressful that after 3 months, I had to quit that job, which was fine, but I had to go back. I worked at Walgreens for 5 years because I needed something that could be flexible so I could do all that stuff for her. And if you're like me, I just turned 60, October 26th. If you're in that sandwich generation, I was a single mom to my daughter. She's 24 now. She's actually a special needs teacher. So I've been a single mom since she was 1, got her off to college. That's when I got in the van. It was right like after COVID, and then traveled, and then things happened with my family. If you don't know, my mom and I are both, no contact with my 2 sisters that are left. If you don't know my story, I've said it before. I may tell it again in the future. But anyway, I'm the only one. That's just what it comes down to. I'm the only one who takes care of her. And so I was just at the pinnacle with social media, like with my YouTube channel and stuff. And in the data breach, they got all my emails. They got all my social media, my Facebook, my YouTube. They got everything. They got my bank account. They got everything. And so that's just kind of the synopsis. If this is the first video that you're watching, I just like to give some background, because I know some people like just jump in to watch certain videos. And so that's where we're at now. And listen, it's not like I relied on social media. I've always had like 5 jobs. I don't ever put my eggs in one basket. I'm a professional makeup artist. I place models for castings, but a lot of that stuff was done on social media. Also on my Facebook, they took that over, started selling Spanish Bitcoin. I couldn't get back on Facebook until I got a burner phone. I had tried to start new Facebook pages, and then finally Facebook was like, you can't start anymore. They got a scan of my face. Just so much stuff. So I am literally, when this channel says starting over at 60 or 60 and starting over, that's where I'm at. And now I'm subbing. I was going to sub anyway, but when I lost everything, I was just at the pinnacle of like where I could do this, but then do social media and do my reviews and stuff like that. And speaking of my reviews, I'm posting them on this channel. I want to make them separate. When I did my Adventures Over 50 video, I've done probably like over 80 reviews. And it was because I was traveling, and that's how they started reaching out. The more I did, the more people reached out. But I want that separate, so you don't have to watch them. So if I could just ask one thing, even if you don't watch them, could you please go over and sub? I think I have one sub right now, but I just started posting reviews to Tracey Tries Things. I'll put it down in the description below. You don't have to watch them, but if you sub, then if I can get my sub count up, then I don't have to post them on this channel anymore. A lot of times too, the businesses just want it for their marketing. They want to put the video on their homepage, or to show a bike and stuff like that. But it helps to have more followers on that channel, and I really want to make them separate. So I'm sorry if you have to you don't have to watch them. That's why I make them separate. But I'm sorry if you've had to see them on this channel now. I'm just trying to build up my other channel, Tracey Tries Things, so that I don't have to put them on this channel anymore. Hope that makes sense. Okay, sorry, enough talking, enough rambling about everything like that. What I want to talk about, so recently, because I'm really into this and figuring things out, even on top of everything, I've been so busy. But I was listening to a podcast about cybersecurity, and one of the things, the first thing when all this started happening to me, they're getting into my bank account, they're getting my PayPal, they're getting my Venmo, they're taking over my emails, they're doing all this. I went to the bank because I was shutting everything down at my bank, and the first thing he said to me, which I never thought of, I don't think I would have thought of it myself, again, because I was in such panic mode with all this going on, too busy dealing with all these different places, calling on the phone, doing all that. And he said, Tracey, you want to freeze your credit. So, there's Experian, Transunion, and Equifax, okay? I used to work in bankruptcy. And again, I was like, oh my gosh, you're right, I do. And he gave me this sheet, I've written on it, but he gave me a sheet on how to get a hold of all them. Freezing your credit is free, okay? It's free. So all you gotta do is call. And there were 2 that I could call, and I put in my information and I could freeze it just over the phone. I didn't even need to talk it to anybody. For some reason, Equifax, because listen, I lived in a van for, almost 4 years. And so I didn't really have a home address. So the last address the other 2 had of me was from 6 years ago. And you have to put in your address when you're freezing it. You have to put in your last address that you had used some form of credit for. And so Equifax, I don't know what the last address they had for me. Another thing about being, doing van life and stuff, you guys probably know what your address was. Maybe you have the same address, or you moved not too long ago, and so you can try a couple ones. But what I found out from this podcast is that if people froze their credit, 80% of these hackers wouldn't be able to get anything. Mind blown. And here's the thing, why do you need your credit open? It still reports, but it's just that you can't take a loan out or something until you unfreeze it. Does that make sense? It's still reporting all your credit, but when you want to take a loan out, you would have to freeze it. And if you freeze it, then if you got your identity stolen like I did, they tried to open bank accounts in my name, they tried to do all this, that would be a huge chunk. They wouldn't be able to even try and open accounts in your name and stuff. And I was lucky because, like I said, my bank guy said it the day that all this happened, and I started calling to freeze it. But if it was already frozen, that was one thing that I wouldn't have to worry about, them opening bank accounts in my name or getting a car loan or, whatever, medical loan, whatever it is, any kind of loan, any kind of credit, any kind of anything. And on top of it, I never thought of this, but they said too, if you have kids or if you're a guardian of somebody or something like that, freeze their credit also. So if you have a kid, all people, all U.S. citizens should have a social security number, and I'm in the process of trying to get a whole new social security number because I've been hacked so bad. Because they can steal your child's, your whatever, whoever, you're a guardian of, whatever. They can steal their information somehow, some way. You would never know, because it's not like, you're paying on stuff, or, you get notice if, something's going on, usually as adults. But kids don't have that kind of history. But if their credit card, if their social security number somehow is accessed, things can be taken out. And in this podcast, they said children have grown up, and then as adults, they've went to get a loan or something like that. And they have all this on their credit history. And some people, they said, this is a podcast, this is a cybersecurity podcast, said that they had to file bankruptcy before they even took out loans. It wasn't even their fault. But a lot of times there's no way to rectify it, from what it sounds like. So, and why would they wouldn't need credit until they're older anyway. So why not freeze it now? And I've said too, but if this is your first time watching, so my daughter is a teacher in a district, and they were just talking about getting a levy, it just passed, to put $1 million over the next 10 years towards cybersecurity, because they said 60,000 times a week that hackers are trying to hack into their school system. And you think about hospitals or any place, employees, big corporations with employees, stuff like that, that let's say they got into the school, they not only have the adults' information, but they have the children's information. And I thought, just hearing that from my daughter not too long ago about freezing the child's credit, because I was like, why would a child need to have their credit frozen? And that's exactly why. Because they're trying to hack into places like schools, because there's a plethora of information and people that they could steal their identities from, even young kids that don't have any credit history yet. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to type down below all this information. I'm going to type Experian, Transunion, and Equifax. Those are the 3 credit bureaus. And I'm going to type them so you can just call and freeze your credit. Free. Absolutely free. And then if you need to take out a loan or do something, a lot of times I was talking to, again, my banker. He's not my banker, but he's the guy at the bank that was helping me deal with all this. And I said, how do they choose? Because, there's 3 credit bureaus, but when you do a loan, they usually only pick 1 or 2 that they go through. And I asked him, I go, well, how do they choose what credit bureau they look up to go through? And he said, everybody just uses something different. I think it has to do if they get a deal on something, because it costs money to pull your credit. And so you can ask wherever you're getting the loan from, hey, where do you pull the credit from? And if they say Transunion, if that's the only one, or if they say Transunion and Equifax, then you just want to call those 2 places and unfreeze it. And you can tell the person you're getting the loan from, or, you're opening a credit card or whatever you're doing, you can ask them where they pull from. Because say I have my credit freezed and I just want to know, here's me, I have my credit freezed and I just want to know what I need to unfreeze, so that you can get the information so I can get the loan. So I thought that was very important. I thought it was very interesting, not just for ourselves, but for our kids. And especially that this person said, and he goes, and I know hackers are listening to this podcast, and they know that if you freeze your credit, 80% of this, and that's the percentage that the podcast host, and I believe he is an expert at this, but that 80% of it wouldn't happen even if we froze our credit. And if you're not using it, if you don't need credit right now, why would we have it open or keep it open? Just to keep it open for hackers to be able to take that information and try and get credit off of you, try and open bank accounts and credit cards and stuff like that. So I thought that was a perfectly easy way that you could even head this off at be proactive. in this, because that's what we want to be. We want to be proactive. Listen, talking to somebody that wasn't proactive and is dealing with everything now, and that's what I'm here to help you with. And I'm learning as I go, and I'm sharing what I learn, because you do not want to go through this. Believe me, you do. This has been life upending. It's been hard. It's been life altering. It has been life altering. So yeah, it's just something really easy and something that you don't even think about. But I told you, fraud has gone up 33% just in the last year. They're stealing, just last year, they sold like $6 billion, not an M, but a B, $16.6 billion. And so let's try and protect ourselves and be proactive and do things before they can get to it. And if they do steal it, at least you know you have the peace of mind that your credit bureaus are already locked down. And that's one thing that you don't have to worry about. But if you haven't, and then it's a good way to, when you do that, like check your credit report, check your, your FICO score and stuff like that. So just a way, again, to be proactive, so you don't have to be in my position. And that's why I'm here, letting you know what you can do that it won't happen to you. Okay, I'm gonna let you go. I gotta work early tomorrow and with more kids. And so you have a good day tomorrow. Change your passwords, change your passwords, change your passwords, change your passwords. If you don't want to get a VPN or, do anything like that to just add extra bills to you, I know that, where we're at now, everything's so expensive. You don't need another bill. But at least, if you're going to do just the least, freeze your credit scores and change your passwords and change them all to something different. Again, one of my faux pas, one of the things that I didn't do, and change them to something hard. Like I said, there's, when you put in a password, it's like, what is it? Soft, medium, and strong or whatever. Weak, medium, and strong. You want to make it strong, and you want it to be like a title of a song or, something nobody would ever even think about. Instead of using the same thing over, just a revision of whatever you're using, use different ones. If you need to use get a little notebook, you can get them from the dollar store, and just keep a little notebook with all your passwords in it. And all that is free, or it'll cost you, well, the dollar store isn't even $1 anymore. What is it? $1.25, $1.50, something like that. But it's a lot less than having to go through what I've gone through. Okay, there you go. I'll see you in the next one. Okay.